Hello everyone, this is Skara Bray here with Ents. And now, today, we are going over that time Simo Hayha fought Loki. So, Ents, guess which god this guy is?
He's on a giant bird.
He usually isn't on that.
Oh, that's not helpful then. Well, he has a horn.
He's
probably, so I guess Heimdallr?
Yeah, that's Heimdallr.
Okay, that makes sense.
Alright, so he's doing a recap of the... Oh, no, wait, that's spoilers of the previous round. Wait, you're never going to read this manga on your own, are you?
No.
Okay, yeah, so in round 1, Thor fought Lubu. You know who Lubu is?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Thor won. In round 2, Zeus fought Adam. Zeus won. In round 3, Poseidon fought Sasaki Kojiro. You don't know who Sasaki is?
Yes.
Sasaki won. In round 4, Heracles fought Jack the Ripper, and Jack the Ripper won.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, he isn't the real Jack the Ripper. He's an assassin who killed Jack the Ripper. And then started using his name, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know that a guy who kills prostitutes can, match a guy like Heracles.
And he killed a lot of other people, too. In round 5, Shiva fought a sumo wrestler. Shima won. In round 6, Buddha fought for humanity, and he fought a guy named Hajun, or Papias, if you're looking at the anime version. And Buddha won. In round 7, Hades fought China's first emperor, and China's first emperor won. In round 8, Beelzebub fought Nikola Tesla, and Beelzebub won. In round 9, Apollo fought King Leonidas, and Apollo won. And in round 10, Susanoo fought Okita Soji, and Okita won. So here we are at round 11. What do you think of the previous fights?
I guess some of those make sense, a lot don't, but the matchups seem a little unequal. A god against a 6-year-old, a king like Leonidas who died when he was 60.
Yeah, well, they're in their prime.
Yeah, he's still up against the sun god, so...
True.
I don't think fighting the sun's gonna go very well for you, just saying.
Yeah, they probably should have sent Karna to fight Apollo. Karna probably could have won, considering how he has a weapon that could destroy all creation.
And Adam was just a normal dude. Besides the fact that he was, he lived for hundreds of years, according to the Bible. So...
Yeah, well, he's also the strongest human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Now, here's the introduction of our first fighter. Simo Hayha with his dog. Yeah, they're giving backstory in the Winter War. Simo was a farmer who picked up his rifle and fought the invaders. And the thing is, they don't really...
Oh, is he the White Death?
Yes.
Okay.
And they don't really exaggerate Simo Hayha's backstory all that much. They only do it slightly, whereas with the others, they generally do that. Yeah, so here's the design for...
Well, you really don't need to with him.
True. Yeah, so Simo's telling his dog to stay there while he fights Loki.
Well, if Loki's battle record for mythology is anything to go off of, Loki's gonna lose this pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so the gods are a bit confused about where they're fighting, and there are some Finnish soldiers who recognize it as the forests of Finland. So now, the stage for round 11, Ragnarok, in an open-air battle taking place in Finland, which is perfectly recreated with god powers. And they're capturing the fight with cameras and the various animals. And now, Loki's coming in. So, described him as the most cunning and evil god of the Norse pantheon.
I'm not sure about most cunning.
Deceives the god, seduces them, betrays them.
Well, according to him, he seduces a lot of people. I'm not sure about if anyone else believes him.
Yeah, some translations I've heard make it more believable than others in terms of the name of the saga.
For those who aren't aware, Loki in Norse mythology claims to have slept with every single one of the gods' wives. No one else backs him up on this, for the record. That's purely Loki's words alone.
Yeah, and it says, what he wants is chaos. What he brings about is the destruction of the world. And here we go. Oh, and Loki's dancing, and Aphrodite and Shiva are looking at it. And here's their design for Loki.
Gets interesting design.
Yeah.
Does he have stitches on his mouth? That'd be cool if he did.
He does not.
Ah, damn.
Oh, and that's their design for Brynhildr there. Those are some generic gods, and like that says, that's Forseti. So, what do you think of him being called the god of peace?
Not sure if Norse ever had a god of peace, but, it's... I guess it's...
Yeah, we don't know much about Forseti as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's not really one I know much about, but again, I don't think the Norse would have... I think they would have laughed at the concept of a god of peace.
Yeah. Alright, oh, and that's their design for Ares.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
as long as he's portrayed as incompetent.
He's portrayed as very incompetent. Or at the very least surrounded by gods who are far more competent than him. That's Hermes there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Zeus.
Right.
Alright, so basically they're talking about Loki's strength is out of the ordinary. As Zeus says, even if the enemy surpasses him in combat power, for some reason, he's always the one left standing in the end. By the way, we never get confirmation of who that guy Loki killed down there is. Thor's the Supreme Berserker. Well, no, Odin should be the Supreme Berserker, obviously.
Yeah, Odin's the god of berserkers.
Yeah. Then, Loki, the Faceless Assassin.
Again, I think they're way overestimating Loki's competence from Norse mythology. I mean, that's kind of a common thing in media. They way overestimate how capable Loki actually is. But,
Yeah. And there's Simo just hanging out in the woods of Finland. Now, here's where it's revealed that Loki's the one who suggested they fight Simo Hayha in Finland. He chose the arena and he chose Finland. Presumably as like a form of psychological warfare. Feels like the hell you were in, doesn't it?
yeah.
Which is pretty incompetent on Loki's part, but in character for him.
Right.
So now, Loki starts using his magical god powers.
What's the outfit he's wearing?
Okay, so I have no idea, but he's definitely wearing an outfit.
Yes.
Alright, so a black mist, and from it, he creates copies of Thor, Odin, and Heracles. So, first off, what do you think of those designs?
Well, Odin, for one thing, it's not exactly very historical. I mean, Thor is clean-shaven. Mjolnir is... I don't even want that. That's quite, a version of Mjolnir.
Yeah.
How is he wielding it one-handed?
He is very strong.
Surprisingly, this is one of the only adaptations that gets right how short Mjolnir's handle is. I'll say that.
Yeah, at least compared to the weapon. In general, it's two-handed because of the sheer size of it.
Yeah. But, Odin is, he has a sword instead of a spear, which is
it is a spear, it just has a really big blade.
It's called a sword.
Yeah, the rest of it's being hidden by Heracles' body. Like, there was a longer thing, you'll see it more. But yeah, so Heracles' design.
They should all have beards, really.
Yeah, they should, but at least Thor has red hair.
Oh, that's something, yeah.
Yeah, you can't see it here, but he has it. And yeah, you see that Brynhild, Jack the Ripper, these guys are all shocked by Loki's power. And Loki sends them off, and you can't get a good look of Odin's spear here either. Alright, next one. Here you can see it! The shaft of Odin's spear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so... Now, the fight starts and, So, Loki summoned Thor, Odin, and even Heracles, who's like dead. Like, even them are a bit shocked. And now
they're probably not real, though. They're probably just copies or something. Mimics.
Yeah, they're copies. Yeah, so Heracles destroys a section of a forest, just destroying it. Like, they may be illusions, but they're not mere tricks. They real thing. That's Heimdall hyping him up. Yeah, this is Ares' reaction to seeing Heracles. In the manga, Ares kind of liked Heracles, but, I mean, I suppose in actual mythology, Heracles was his brother, but they don't exactly have many positive interactions.
No.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper's a bit pissed off about this, too. Oh, and that girl there was a Valkyrie. So, Simo Hayha is hiding because, sniper.
Yes.
Somewhere in the forest. And there's Loki. So, Loki decides to put on his ring. So, So now, I'm sure you can clarify it, but Loki did at one point have a magic ring in Norse mythology that he promptly gave away.
Yeah.
It was cursed.
Yeah, he stole it from some dwarves who cursed it to as punishment, but Loki was like, ha ha ha, I was just giving it away anyway.
Yeah, not his problem now.
Yeah.
So, Loki then uses more of his magic. And then he creates multiple copies of those gods, and you can see a few of Odin's spears there.
Right.
So, I'm pretty sure it's obvious, but Loki never did anything like this in Norse mythology.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, at best he commanded an army of Jotuns at Ragnarok, but, I mean, Odin's half Jotun, and Thor is 3/4 Jotun. But I don't think he did it this way.
Yeah, I think and you have to think of the Norse gods and Jotnar as being less different races or different species and more just like being different families.
Yeah, that's a more apt comparison. Because, like, there are no difficulties to Norse gods and Jotnar interbreeding or interacting with each other, even counting mythological weirdness.
Mm-hmm. They seem to just operate as gods, just different types of gods.
Yeah. Right.
Or different families, rather.
Yeah. Now, Loki, though, they do get it right that Loki can fly, though I think whenever Loki flew, he stole something from someone, or...
Yeah, he stole feather. He took Freya's feathers, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Freya doesn't appear in the manga. At least she hasn't yet. I don't think she's going to. Oh, and there's Musashi and Sasaki Kojiro and another Valkyrie. Yeah, I think Sasaki, the speech text is a bit difficult to tell, thinks it's ninjutsu. But he admits that he doesn't understand what's going on the slightest.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Loki is taunting Simo. And standing out in the middle of the open.
Right.
Yeah, so... And now Loki is explaining that his power is the ability to copy anything. I don't think... I mean, if Loki could do that, it would have solved a lot of problems in Norse mythology.
No, yeah, definitely.
So, Loki now proceeds to demonstrate it by copying a squirrel.
Genius.
Yeah, and the ring... He can generally only create 5 copies at any time, but with the ring he can create as many as he wants. Yeah, so he basically is trying to use the spatial advantage of this battlefield to just overwhelm Simo with numbers.
Right. At least first I should find him.
Yeah. And now, and since he explained the weakness, Ares is complaining that Loki got too carried away bragging, because yeah, this is stupid even for Ares.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much comic book villain level stupid.
And Hermes, on the other hand, is like, no, Loki's not making a mistake. Yeah, like, he has some ulterior motive behind revealing his weakness. And since he picked the battlefield, he must have more than one trick up his sleeve.
Right.
So yeah, and they said Loki slipped a small bluff. Input and output ability, and the fact that he creates more copies, and that gets weaker the more he gets, was true. However, the power is not distributed. Rather, it can be distributed. So basically, Loki slipped in a single copy that has more power than the others.
Right.
Yeah, so Simo Hayha... So now, the idea is that Simo Hayha may not know how to engage the army approaching him, but if he were to fell the copy with the first shot, he would summarize that they can all be felled. And then if he shoots the powerful copy, the bullet bounces off. Which, yeah.
Considering the pure quantity, I doubt he'd have the bullets to kill them all if he summoned like 50 of them.
Yeah, fair point. So, this was... Oh, and this guy here is Buddha. Yeah, he lost an eye in this fight, which is why he has an eye patch. He didn't start out with one-eyed. So Loki says no one can escape. Alright. Now, guess how Simo's going to counter this.
Shooting Loki directly?
Okay, single fire bullet, moving twice as fast as the speed of sound. The speed feats of this manga aren't very consistent. But anyway, at that instant, it transforms into a flower bud, releasing a dazzlingly beautiful light, as if a bed of infinite flowers all bloomed at once.
Oh, so he just shoots them pretty much all at once?
Yeah, he basically has a magic bullet. Yeah, so... And it even killed the strongest copy of Thor. Yeah, so they could only describe it as a single bloodshot flowery bloom of the gods. So, yeah. Now, he says something in Finnish, which I do not speak. So now Loki's army of copies is pretty much gone in one shot. And that single bullet scattered in a single shot destroyed it. And yeah, Loki's hiding behind a tree at this point.
Naturally.
Based on both the flash and the bang when he fired, and the scope probably hiring something over there. Well, looking at the scope of the damage, not Simo's scope, because, like, yeah. And then they're like, what? He's already disappeared from sight, and the snow falling removes any trace of him. Yeah, Jack the Ripper likes that trick there. Though, basically, this is Jack basically explaining the attack, scatter shot, how it worked. There's a lot of explaining of attack in this manga.
Right.
And now, Ares is pissed off because that killed a fake of copy of Heracles, and he's also pointing out that a gun created by humans shouldn't be able to damage gods. Because even if the gun is magic, the bullets are mundane.
And he has but I think it's pretty clear, though, that he has magic bullets that he's using.
Yeah, we'll find out how soon, but anyway, like, Buddha comes in to hang out with Brynhildr. Yeah, they're going, and he brings up the same thing, like, pointing out that though only the gun and the human body with the thing that he taught Brynhildr should be able to damage a god. So what are the bullets? Well, they're Simo's organs. That last one was his kidney.
Okay.
And when this first came out, there were some theories that Simo would use his skin as a bullet.
And no, instead they're organs.
Yeah. Yeah, so when that's a Valkyrie hanging out with Simo, helping him. So, creating tremendously powerful bullets at the sacrifice of an organ, which is something that even freaks out Buddha. And Brynhildr's pointing out the logic that, well, Simo doesn't really like killing people, so this is basically a form of redemption for him. So, he uses another one. A liver in this case.
He's gonna die from this.
You'll see. So, this is Simo's backstory, in which they basically barely exaggerate it, pointing out the Soviets finished Winter War, how Simo basically utterly terrified the Soviets. It's did with 100% accuracy and such. Though they attribute the way they exaggerate is they attribute all his kills to his sniper rifle, when in fact he actually got an equal number of kills with his SMG.
Right.
And there's Simo's comrades talking about how great he is. And meanwhile, Simo's in his bedroom getting freaked out about all the people he killed. Having severe PTSD attack.
He did kill hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he had PTSD in real life. Like, I don't know if he did, but highly likely a lot of soldiers did.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that time Simo Hayha was now shot in the throat and lived. They don't mention how the bullet was explosive. Hence why it damaged his jaw even though he was shot in the throat. Yeah, so, liver. Now reload complete. And he's aiming, and there's Loki aiming at him from somewhere. So, Simo shoots at Loki. And Loki, meanwhile, he summons more copies. It goes right through the copies. And then Loki, in response, creates a door that's apparently a shield. And the bullet goes right through it and pierces his head.
Nice.
But it's not over yet. First, now we have Loki's backstory. Here they're recreating a famous picture of Loki, but in their design for him.
No, it was from a Icelandic copy of the Prose Edda, I think.
Yeah, so. Now, here's Loki's backstory in this manga. So, there are some...
Wait, hold up. That's... Valhall is a garden. A hall is a garden.
They actually show Valhall in another thing, and they show it multiple times, and I think they mean this is the Garden of the Gods in Valhall.
Yeah, it's a hall.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe outside. Maybe I guess you could say it's outside of Valhall.
Yeah, they more depict Valhall as a city.
Why not just use Asgard's on there?
That's a good point.
Or rather, Asgarther, if we're using Norse pronunciation.
That's a good point. But anyway, so here's what Loki used to look like. Yeah, he had the blood of Jotuns in his veins. Like all the other Norse gods.
Yep.
and stood turn to terms with Thor and Odin in terms of strength.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, actually, if we go by, if we're using, if we're treating them as different species or whatever, Thor would be more of a Jotun than Loki. Actually, Loki's mother is one of the Aesir.
Yeah, so he's half Jotun like Odin is. Yeah, and here are some Valkyries in like the gardens there. So they show some Valkyries, some of which are dead, some of which aren't. And Brunhild decides to throw in a food fight a watermelon. Mm-hmm. It hits Loki in the mouth, and the sight of it basically makes Brunhilde laugh, which basically, well, turns Loki on.
Huh.
Yeah, so Loki develops a massive crush on Brunhilde, which even he doesn't understand. Like, that didn't happen in Norse mythology.
No.
I'm pretty sure they never even spoke in Norse mythology.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so Loki at that point then proceeds to prank Forseti by drawing eyes on him and putting... I don't know what that is, and I don't want to imagine it considering some of the stuff Loki got up to, but he puts something on his glasses. So Loki dresses up like this, starts pranking to give him laughs. Brunhilde laughs, he shaves Ares' head. Yeah. And he also steals Mjolnir from Thor, which is, funnily enough, something he was accused of doing, but didn't actually do in Norse mythology.
Yeah, no, that was some Jotun.
Yeah, and also they give Thor lightning powers in the manga, sort of. They're basically very mild, but he does have them.
Yeah, we don't actually know for sure if Thor has lightning powers in Norse myth. It does. It's an interesting thing. Like, they don't show up in any of the legends or that are preserved. But that being said, there are sagas where he casts storms.
Yeah.
But so and also in what's his face from Ice Snorri describes him as being accompanied by lightning and thunder during one moment.
Yeah, and Snorri also says the Norse prayed to him for good weather.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be connected to lightning powers, as in weather.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had some lightning powers that just weren't preserved, since we have very few myths actually preserved.
Yeah, that's possible. But anyway, so... Brunhilde also describes Thor as loving Mjolnir more than life itself. Which, to be fair, he did risk his life to get it back, but also it's kind of his most powerful weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... Anyway, then Loki sees Brunhilde with Siegfried.
Mm-hmm.
And Loki has no idea who Siegfried is.
Right.
Which I guess makes sense, they never talked in Norse mythology either.
Right.
And then... the killing of Fafnir.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they come in to feed Fafnir, Odin's pet dragon. And then comes the big twist. Siegfried didn't kill Fafnir. Loki framed him.
Oh. Huh.
So yeah.
So I guess he can't speak to birds in this version.
Yeah, he probably can't. We haven't really seen Siegfried's powers, but anyway, Odin arrests them, and he's probably about to deliver some punishment for killing his dragon. But then Odin notices something that's related to RRR's overall plot, and he decides to just throw Siegfried in Tartarus forever.
That's pretty much death, since Tartarus is like hell.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's the afterlife, so...
Yeah, like in Record of Ragnarok, it's basically depicted as a prison. That's more... that more people than just dead people are imprisoned in, but yeah.
And if you go to the afterlife, aren't you by definition dead?
Yeah, I suppose so, though, well, in Shuumatsu no Valkyrie, demigods don't age just like gods don't. Mm-hmm. Which is a bit weird, because in pretty much all mythology, demigods age unless there's something else keeping them from doing it. Right. Or unless they're turned into a full god. But they're basically lower status gods, I suppose, in Shuumatsu no Valkyrie. And Siegfried is a demigod. Well, actually, I think he's a full god in Shuumatsu no Valkyrie. Which he pretty much wasn't in Norse mythology. Oh, he was barely a demigod, just a descendant of Odin.
Right.
But not actually all that related to him. And Loki's like, well, at least no one knows it was me. And now Brunhilde isn't happy, and it's basically sort of implied that she figured it out. That expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some backstory. He tries to do more stuff. And Hilda eventually did the Ragnarok thing. Oh, and we have some cameos from a goddess who appears in a spin-off. So then there's that time Incubus tried to rape Brynhildr and was killed by Thor. And Loki just sat around doing nothing. Yeah, so that's Loki talking to Heracles, more stuff related to the plot. And then there's Loki getting shot, but it wasn't Loki. The rabbit was Loki all along. Well, at least he did have shape-shifting powers in Norse myth.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't...
Not that they really did much good. I mean, the gods still found him.
Yeah, so anyway, Loki so the clones all die. Loki's trying to, like, make it look like this thing is the real him. And then people are, like, reacting to it with these guys going, oh, no way, Loki was winning one-sidedly. Keep in mind, these guys don't know about Simo using his organs as bullets. Right. And they thought Loki getting his entire army destroyed was him winning one-sidedly.
Yeah, they're kind of stupid.
Yeah. Now, so there's Loki behind Simo. And they're now showing how Loki did it. That at the start of it, he created a copy of himself, and that was the Loki we've been seeing. And then he gave it the ring to further the deception. And then hid in the real battlefield in the form of a rabbit. Yeah, so now he has his, like, blade. Actually, did the Norse mythology ever specify what weapon Loki uses?
I don't think so, but it wouldn't surprise me that he used some kind of blade.
Yeah, like, we know he fights Heimdall in actual mythology Ragnarok.
Yeah, but that's in the... yeah, and we don't know, though, if that was in the form of a human, because previously they fought each other in the form of walruses, and they might have went back to walrus form to fight again.
Yeah, that'd be really funny if at the final battle of Ragnarok, Loki and Heimdall just turn to walruses and stab each other to death. I heard another translation that said it was seals. Is walrus more accurate?
It might be seals. I might be misremembering.
Yeah, like, God, if it's seals, it'd be even less dignified.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Loki can share consciousness and perspective with any copy he created. And the third, he can transform any of those linked into copies of gates and materialize himself into their position, hence why he could, like, do the rabbit thing by just teleporting to it, basically. However, Loki had one miscalculation. Simo's abilities far exceeded his. So yeah, Loki's freaking out a bit, especially since Brynhildr told him that Simo was the warrior she picked out specifically to kill him.
Right.
So yeah, just some inner monologue backstory, and Loki's just contemplating how things are going. He's not doing too well. And then there's that bird. And he decides that he's going to push himself to his limits in setting a trap. Comes out in the form of, like, disguised as Heracles. Simo turns around and uses his spleen as a bullet. And now it pierced the heart. However, it only pierced the heart of the disguised Heracles there. And at the sniper's back, these guys appeared. Yeah, Loki's a dual wielder in this series. Which doesn't really make sense with Old Norse fighting styles.
No.
Yeah, so Loki appears, getting ready to go after Simo, but the actual Loki is still basically inside the Heracles copy.
Did actually the bullet hit him?
Yeah, but it missed his heart because it hit the heart of the Heracles thing. So, now, Jack the Ripper is basically going in and describing how he could tell the difference because of his magic powers.
Right.
Yeah, so, anyway, there's these ones. And now, oh yeah, so basically he made sure that it didn't hit his own vitals, just the disguised Heracles vitals. So Loki's first move was to put himself within the body of a Heracles copy, and all this is far more complicated than any scheme Loki did in Norse myth.
Yeah, his schemes, if you look at Norse myth, they're pretty straightforward. It's like, cut Thor's wife's hair, or tell Baldur's blind brother to shoot an arrow for fun.
Yeah. Or throw a spear, I think it was, actually.
Yeah, okay, the spear.
And then there's him tricking Idun by just saying he found someone who had better apples.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, yeah, like, I think if this was actually mythologically accurate, Loki would go out, challenge Simo to a wrestling match, and then get shot.
Yeah, that's probably what would happen. The only story I can think of where Loki actually has a scheme that goes well is this one Faroese ballad where he comes up with a scheme to help a boy escape a giant, like an actual giant, not a Jotun.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, giant is not an accurate translation of Jotun. They only use giant because they wanted it to sound like Greek myth.
Yeah, with the gigantes, which themselves weren't really giants.
No, but that's just where we get the word.
Yeah, but anyway, so you see it here, heart or brain vitals are in different places. So at the same time, releases Haze underground, a place to detect them and create more copies to suddenly appear behind Simo Hayha, and then to try to kill him in one blow. And now, up there, we reveal that the bird was also made by Loki. And remember, he can transfer himself between the copies.
Right.
So, Simo is still staring at the copy of Heracles.
Yeah.
And then, yep, noticed it, the real one. And now he's using his pancreas. So now, up there, Loki transfers into the bird.
Oh, that's cheating.
Yeah. And then, he messes up his plan by shouting die when he has a sneak attack on Simo Hayha. This is the most mythologically accurate Loki has ever been in this manga.
Definitely.
So Simo turns around and shoots him in the face. And that was the fight.
Nice.
So, what did you think?
I like the ending. The ending was great.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe.